wonder is about it.
Hello, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, from coast to coast and around the world, you're listening to the Sportcat Show.
That's right. You are listening to the Sportcat Show on the Para OR Normal Guyz. We've got a couple great guests lined up tonight. The chat is open. Hello there. Let their monsters in with Ryan Trimley. Okay. Hey, Ryan. Hello to you. The chat is open. The phone lines are up. We are also broadcasting live on yurgsradio.com. And you can call us at 1-888-88-YERGZ, 1-888-88-YERGZ. Or if you're not able to listen, you can go to yurgsradio.com and listen to us there. All right, let's see who we got hiding backstage. We have Miss Cheyenne.
Hello.
Miss Dina. How are you, ladies?
Hello.
Fabulous.
All good to go?
Good.
Well, you know, I've got another beautiful young lady hiding backstage. Let's just bring her out too. Everybody, Ashley is with We Talk Weird on Wednesday. I did get that right. We Talk Weird
On
Wednesday,
Wednesdays, we talk weird.
Okay.
Oh.
I was
Close.
So
I'm
do
sorry.
we. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we,
Talk weird every day.
yes, we do.
No, I do.
Oh.
But
So,
I guess we do.
well, some Wednesdays are worse than others. Ashley,
Yeah.
how the heck are you?
Doing great. I'm excited to be here. You and I have had one conversation and it was good. So if I can base anything off of that conversation and assume going forward this will be good as well, then great. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah, well, I'm usually fairly laid back and just I don't want to say don't care, but you know, just kind of happy-go-lucky. So I'm the Bigfoot guy. I know you're the Mothman expert, so I hear. So that's what we want to talk about tonight. I hear you know all about Mothman. Cheyenne.
I do. Oh, I thought she told me she loved the Mothman. I don't know what happened.
I'll be back.
Yeah, I don't know where there she is.
Hey, Ashley, I'll talk, Glenn.
Oh, that's right. I have to put you up on top to make
okay.
it easier for Dina to see. So
That's not it. It just looks like we're looking down. We've talked about
that's
this,
a good
Glenn.
yeah. See, I don't see.
Thank you.
Actually, I don't listen well. So
He doesn't. He doesn't.
I don't think I've ever met a man that does. So.
No, not many of them.
yeah, well, guilty. So,
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Ashley, how did you earn the Mothman expert title?
It wasn't by choice and it wasn't easy. I can say that. So I guess long story short, I live in Dayton, Ohio. I'm about 2 hours away from Point Pleasant, West Virginia, so it's not far. And the Mothman Festival was coming up. This was in September 2019. I was invited to go work on a project with some YouTuber. And it was just supposed to be silly. It was just supposed to be fun. And they thought it would be kind of funny to have me on as like the cryptozoologist on this YouTube video. And I didn't believe in the Mothman. I just thought it was silly fun. You know, I thought maybe everybody saw the sandhill crane, like people said. And I went to the Mothman Festival that weekend. It was big, not nearly as big as it is now, but I experienced what I can only describe now as a string of synchronicities, followed by months and months of life-changing events. And here I am. So life, like they said in Jurassic Park, finds a way. you can't ignore some things that happen to you, and this was just something that happened to me. So that's a short story.
Mothman was just meant to happen.
He
Gotcha.
had his eyes set on me, and I had no choice but to oblige. What can I say? He's very charming.
Well,
You can't say
your,
no to those eyes.
Your family says that your fan, I don't know where I got that from. Ryan Trimbley says, "Don't let her touch." Well, you can read this. So
Reading it. Ryan's my
Yeah.
boyfriend.
Oh,
no impartiality there. Well,
Him and Mothman have a feud, so
oh.
Fair. Very fair.
so I take it was. And how do I want to word this? It wasn't a welcome visit. So, did it leave you?
Or was it?
Well, I mean, might have been, but I guess what I'm getting at is there any trauma secondarily to it?
well, yes and no. It wasn't a bad visit. I had a wonderful time. Loved West Virginia. Had never been there before. It was great fun. The festival itself was a lot of fun. The people I went with was a lot of fun. But it did have some trauma to it, but not in the way that you'd expect. So I guess I'll get a little personal. So the person whose YouTube video I was working on ended up dating, and it was like very hard and very fast, and we ended up having a very bad breakup, which was very difficult for me. And I don't know, it's probably the shortest thing I can say about it. When we had these experiences, it was a shared experience that we were having together. So it wasn't just like yes, obviously there was romantic value in it, but there was also another person that was validating all of the experiences that I was going through that I just lost. So I ended up feeling very alone because it was just me, a single crazy person, making all these claims about all this stuff. And anyway, instead of making the YouTube video, we were going to go on and make this whole documentary because we felt like the information that we were consuming at the time was just stuff that people needed to hear. People knew the Point Pleasant story. People align Mothman with the Silver Bridge collapse, and just none of that is true. I almost swore. I had to pause myself. Anyway, I get so mad about it, but no, really, none of it is true. Not okay. The bridge collapse, like that part's true, and people saw Mothman or whatever, but they're not. There's no correlation, is what I mean, and it's a lot deeper than a lot of people realize. And so we were going to make this documentary together, and I had never filmed anything before. I've never made content. As a matter of fact, it was that event, going to the Mothman Festival, that encouraged me to get my first smartphone in 2019.
Wow.
Wasn't a social media person. I had no idea what I was doing. So when that person exited my life, they exited it in a big, bad, terrible way, which is really strange compared to the person I knew. And then on top of that, now here I am kind of holding the bag with all these experiences going, well, what do I do now? How do I do this? Which I have been slowly learning over the past, 4.5 years. So,
I'm just gonna throw this out there. It's kind of weird. My first experience was with the Mount Vernon Monster, which is Bigfoot, in Northern Virginia, and I experienced it with two of my best friends. And now one of my best friends is, well, not my best friend anymore. In fact, he had to get a restraining order. So, yeah, I get where you're coming from there, because sometimes people just think you're nuts.
Yeah.
Sometimes it sounds like I'm selling a cult, and I acknowledge it a lot. I'm like, I swear.
Yeah.
We'll join it. You can sign me up now.
Maybe I will start one then. I don't know enough people.
Just don't give me an address to move to, please.
No, that's exactly what we're doing.
It won't be.
Yeah.
It won't be one of those death cults. It'll be like one of the sexy cults.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
It'll be that instead.
I'm in.
It's just sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Exactly. But it is hard to, sharing those types of experiences with people is a very special connection that you're just not going to get with other people, necessarily. And Certainly in the last 4.5 years that I've done this, it's not a connection I found with anybody else. And so will I one day? Hopefully,
Yeah.
but we'll see. Now, in doing my Mothman research ever since then, because then I just feet on the ground, run and hit it, researching everything that I can, learning every possible thing about the Mothman that's out there, and I'm taking, eyewitness accounts, and I'm going to places. Probably all throughout 2020, I spent more time in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, than I did at home, and it was very exciting. Now 2021 rolls around, and somebody shares an encounter with me, and it was like a light bulb went off in my head, and I realized, oh my God, I saw it. I saw it myself back in 2016.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's just something that I buried because I didn't believe in any of that stuff then. So, and now looking at it and looking at my experience and other people's because one thing that a lot of people don't understand about the Mothman, here's the true story about kind of what it is, or as close as I can get, is that whatever it is, it's an extremely personal encounter. It's a personal experience. It changes your life, not in a bad way. Sometimes it can switch to the negative, but I firmly believe that's because you just have lessons that you have to learn. But it follows a specific track after seeing it that kind of ends up, put you in this place where you're probably still very confused, but we all go through it. And so, kind of backtracking to my own experience, my life then went on a specific path. And again, it's just not something I really feel I had a choice in.
Mm.
Mothman doesn't respect consent. So,
He's just like, nope, I said so. This is how it's going.
hey, you're going to have it. Sorry.
Hmm.
What if you had to classify Mothman? What type of creature would you classify it as? Or
Whew.
I don't know if that's the right word.
No,
Yeah.
that's a good question. So I tell people all the time, it's not a cryptid. It's definitely, what's your favorite cryptid? Oh, it's Mothman. Well, no, because Mothman's not a cryptid. Cryptozoology is just the study of undiscovered species of animals that really occur here. They live here. They're regular. They don't have supernatural powers or intent or anything. Mothman, you're not going to find here. You can't go on a Mothman expedition.
Go
Well, you
find
could,
a
but
den of Mothman.
right,
Of
there's no moth.
Mothman.
Nests, no Mothman babies, right? There's no Mothman eggs. You don't decide that you're going to find it. It finds you. Um, does that mean it's supernatural? I suppose so. Does it mean it's John Keel? John Keel uses the term ultra terrestrial. I think that probably describes it better than anything. But what does that mean? It's kind of alien, kind of supernatural, kind of paranormal. I don't know. I'll ask him once I catch him. It's going to happen.
Let me know. I want to be there.
I got my Mothman butterfly net ready.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people in the Bigfoot community believe that sometimes that Bigfoot is got something to do with either interdimensions or even ET. I don't know so much about that yet. I'm
Sure.
not 100% sold, but I'm not either way. So yeah, I can see that. What are the traits that you think that the Mothman is? I hate to use the word attracted to, but like a light bulb, but you know what I mean. I think.
I guess I don't know. Because we all seem to be very different people from different walks of life. I don't know if it's trauma, people with a history of trauma, because we all have it. I don't know if it's people that are more open to being, into this stuff, because I wasn't, I was a skeptic. Maybe it is skeptics. I don't know. I've definitely taken a look at myself and tried to figure out, what could be special
What is it
about
about you
me,
that's
right? It sounds very condescending. It's not, or very
No.
full of yourself or cocky. It's just that
Mm-mm.
you do wonder. You're
Mothman
like,
is helping you find yourself.
yes, he
I think
is.
having somebody that that doesn't know they're looking for something or that needs something in their life.
It definitely could
Needs
be.
direction, maybe.
But yeah, I mean, who knows? I don't know. I know that, like, me personally, I'm kind of a comment person. I'm never really, just my entire life, I've never had a good friend group or, like, best friends, or it sounds really sad. Well, I guess it kind of is, but I don't really have any constants. Even like my family, I don't talk to any of them. So I guess just kind of loners in general. And it's not really because I haven't tried to be, go inward and figure out, well, what the heck's wrong with me. I don't think there is anything wrong with me. I just think for whatever reason I have a different personality.
It's just who you are.
Right, exactly. And
Yeah.
so, could it be that? Is that the common denominator? It's people that are just kind of naturally lonely that, end up having these experiences. It's hard. Obviously, a lot of the Mothman witnesses I can't talk to anymore. They're dead, so that's so sad. But, he's been around for a very long time. So.
Yes. And how often are there sightings of him?
A lot more than people think. Again, people think, when they think Mothman, they think pleasant. I mean, the fact of the matter is that I think there was only like 2 significant sightings that actually happened in Point Pleasant proper during that time period. And it depends on how
they were all over.
All over. Yeah. But specifically, they kind of seem to follow the Ohio River. If you want to call it a flap, I don't think so. I think they happen all the time, and I think that people just call it something different. Probably the most recognizable, if people are really deep in the lore, is going to be the Owl Man over in the UK. They have their own kind of version of the Mothman that appeared in the 70s to a couple of people. Of course, right now we allege the Chicago Mothman, flap going on, or sightings or what have you. But go deeper than that. Look at Christians. Look at Christians who claim to be visited by angels. And what are they describing? Well, they're describing a winged humanoid that appears to them and completely changes their life. Look at the Algonquins. The Algonquins have a head, and that predates us. Predates modern America. It's been here. It always has, and it always will be. I hope.
No, I can see that. Yeah, I don't hear many reports of it being cited. So yeah, it's one of those that you think, oh, it's just there, or but
or it was something else.
Well, I mean, even from my move from Washington D.C. to further south, I had never heard of some of the things until I moved here. I think it might just be regional too. To some people, there's more people talk about things than they do others. Here in the Northeast Georgia mountains, everybody will tell you all about Bigfoot. So,
yeah.
But before that,
I wonder here in West Virginia too, if it's more like I saw Mothman. We know he's here. It's fine.
And it really is. I mean, one issue that we have across the board in any Fortean topic is these things going way underreported. And, when I started doing this and I started doing it seriously, it was kind of strange because I'm a parent, so I do parent things with my kid, and doing things like going to another kid's birthday party. People are like, oh, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, oh, well,
Mothman.
Yeah, I do Mothman for a living. Yeah. But I tell them, but I tell them I'm honest, and you always kind of get ready for it. You're like, it's gonna get weird, it's gonna get awkward. They're gonna make it awkward. No, actually, then they go on to be like, oh, I've seen something, or I know somebody who have seen something. People don't normally just offer up that information, and not to mention, there's no Ghostbusters. Like, there's no dedicated place to report this type of stuff. Right. It's getting a little better with the internet, but the internet's also got its downsides. I mean, we have things like I just took a Mothman report that happened. I mean, it happened probably 10 years ago, but the guy just now spoke up about it. And he talked about it on Reddit. He didn't call it Mothman. He didn't know what the Mothman was. He referred to it as a winged humanoid. And, you'll kind of get more and more of that as the internet goes on. But then again, of course, you'll have people that are like, oh, Mothman lives in my basement and we're best friends. Yeah. And like,
me too,
real,
girl.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Is that what it was last night?
It's funny because I almost feel like if there were a Ghostbusters for that, I feel like the first place people would go would be uh, Jeff Wamsley.
I would say he's a good resource. I would say it's also regional. It seems like most people in the Chicago area are, or in that general Lake Michigan area are reporting to Lon Strickler, who runs the Phantoms and Monsters website, or they're reporting to Tobias Whalen, who wrote the Lake Michigan Mothman book. So I think
for anybody that doesn't know, Jeff Wamsley wrote and interviewed several of the people that had Mothman sightings, and he is the one that runs the Mothman Museum down in Point Pleasant.
Yeah. I guess I just shouldn't assume that that's common knowledge.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I'm just like, nope, yeah.
Jeff Williams, I know who that is, and everybody else is like, who? That's so funny. So yeah, I mean, it's regional, depending on where you're at. And then, like I said, Christians will go and report it to their pastor. It just depends on what you're looking at. If you see the Garuda in India, you're gonna go report it to whatever religious whoever you have there. I mean, it just depends on where you're at and who you feel comfortable with. But then again, now we're all spaced out in different areas. Me and Jeff Wamsley don't share Mothman encounters. We should. Jeff, call me. But
I've wanted to reach out to him to see if I can like come on, just come be on the show for a minute. Come on, please.
He probably would. I mean, he's a nice enough guy. I just think that he's so getting older. Yeah, he just retired his day job and stuff, so maybe he's not as busy. So
just go pop into the museum and be like, hey.
Yeah, I'll tell you a second banana to Jeff Wamsley. Steve Ward, get Steve Ward on the show. He helps run. He helps with the Mothman Museum, I should say. But no, Steve's a great guy. He'll come on.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he'll come on.
Yeah, well,
writing that down.
Yeah, please get him on the show. There are monsters. My son moved to Vermont. I'd never heard of Champ. That lives up in Lake Champaign.
Really?
Yeah, I'd never heard of it until he moved to Stowe, Vermont, and I've gotten to know Katie Elizabeth kind of well, and she's like, "Yeah, they're not the only ones." I did some research, and there's one in Tennessee. There's one supposedly in Georgia, a lake monster in Tennessee.
Like a Nessie, but for different small.
In Tennessee.
Yeah, and if they're just called, I mean, they're pretty much the same thing, but called a different name. Actually, our episode this week that we did over on Wednesdays We Talk Weird was about Wisconsin Dogman. Well, when you look up Wisconsin Dogman, you only get the Beasts of Bray Road, which, what's wrong with that? Well, it's on Bray Road, right? So
there's got to be more. It's got to be spread out more.
That's what people know it as. It doesn't matter if it happened 4 hours away north, right? It doesn't matter. It's the Beast of Bray Road, and it's just kind of, it's kind of silly, but things just end up being called what they're called. It doesn't mean that they're any different. It's not any different than the Michigan Dogman. It's the same thing.
Okay.
I was always super into the Loch Ness Monster. So some of my family is from Lake George in New York, which is right there where there had been some sightings. So they're bringing me there for the first time, and I'm like, come on.
There's a stick floating. You're like, that's it. I know that's it.
That's it.
That's all childhood Cheyenne would have needed to be satisfied with life.
That's funny.
Probably a stick, but I'm happy. I saw something.
Yeah.
I've tried to convince Katie when she goes up and goes researching, I'll go visit my son Kyle, and I'll be available if you need somebody to ride along. So yeah, I've never had let me rephrase that. I've never researched or learned much about the lake or water monsters. And I don't know if the monster is the right word, but the beings until I found out about that. I'd never thought about it. And you're right, it is regional. So
it's a big world of weird out there, I'll tell you. And that's one of the things about it is that we definitely have a problem within the community of not coming together to put a research together. And that's where we need to be. That's what we need to be doing right now. Some people get upset. I don't get upset if other people research the Mothman. That's ridiculous. I
No,
can't
that's
do it
great.
all
No,
by
tell me what you know, so I know what you
Yeah.
know.
Let's go to dinner.
What
Let's
people
go.
Yes.
do.
Let's go to the TNT area together. Let's hang out. I need other people to do it also. But then we also need to come together and share that information because maybe you found something that I haven't, or I have something that you don't. And
Preach it,
it's
sister.
not it's not just that. It's not just the Mothman. It's all of the weird, all of it. We need a team. No scientific discovery has ever been made by one single person. It's always taken, except for maybe, I don't know, peanut butter or something, but something obscure like that, but it's always taken a whole team of people, and that's what we need, which
Yeah.
I know sounds hippy dippy and with all the para unity and stuff, but
Oh,
I'm
it's weird.
serious.
Let's go
I think
Mothman
people should
hunting.
compare notes.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. I was a member of two separate teams when I moved to Georgia for Bigfoot, and we've ended up basically merging the ones down in Alabama now and the ones in Northeast Georgia. And we talk to and ask people to come in all the time with us, and so we enjoy learning new things, hearing new things,
Yeah.
It
because
just needs to be a big collective
Conglomerate.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big conglomerate.
absolutely.
oh yeah, one of the guy that we just lost from our team that passed away, he was the one that probably out of everybody short of oh gosh, what's his name, Finding Bigfoot, the guy on TV, Matt Moneymaker, probably had more evidence and seen more things and had more stories than any person I'd ever met in my life. And just to hear it from a credible, he was a search and rescue officer with California State Forestry. They go out and find people, and he was dumped in the woods with him and his dog, and he had quite some experiences.
He searched and found some stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
He found him, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, sharing that is always what makes it better. In fact, we actually had one of the girls on our team. She was filming something. She's like, come here, see something. And she couldn't see it. And it wasn't until we got back and it was at home in the computer. And actually, Bobby Dizzle slowed it down. You can see a humanoid figure on the FLIR turned sideways. And I swear, in my imagination, it looks like it's giving the cameraman the bird. But you could see it clearly
It looks
turn
like that.
and arm.
Hey, Mothman
Vanish.
can be sassy.
Right.
or Bigfoot can be sassy. So
Well, if it's a sentient being, it would have figured out that we're watching you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so you never know. So,
I'm-
we had the guy on the Ghost Show who said they set their cameras up and the mics up, and it wasn't a hot stage. They just were recording, and they heard something whisper into the mic. Don't talk. They're recording us, guys. So,
They didn't want you to know their secrets.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm super curious about like what you experienced.
Oh, you mean like my Mothman encounter?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, I should have told it when I told you about it. Anyway, so I know that it was the summer of 2016. I don't know when, June, July, August, somewhere in there. I was at my best friend's house. We were. I know that you guys are on radio. We were doing adult things that involve plants, and we were reading High Times magazine, and we were cooking also. So but this was not something I was a stranger to. It's something that we did regularly, and it's time to go to bed. And I had stayed the night that night because we were reading so late, and I'm on her couch. I'm sleeping on a couch, and in like the corner of her room got this like TV cabinet, and it's open, and it's like caddy corner. And that's important because sometimes when you read a lot, one thing that you'll kind of do is like look around the room and pick a spot and kind of look at it to kind of like regain yourself. And I'm laying there, I kind of start freaking out. I kind of start feeling not safe. I've got the paranoia is coming on, and I'm like, what is happening? And I pick right above the TV cabinet to kind of, look and, be like, hey, you're fine. You're just really tired from reading. And so while I'm staring at the corner of the room, something starts to form there. And describe it. I like to kind of give this detail because it's important. Remember when you were a kid and your teacher had that overhead projector and would put like notes or math problems or whatever on top of it, and then she would take a blank sheet and put it over top of the original and then like draw on it.
Yes.
It's kind of like that. That's the best way I could describe what was happening. And something starts forming, and it starts off with like a head shape, and it's like black and misty, and I'm like, okay. And then it, starts being shoulders. And then the shoulders start going kind of outwards. They're growing like over top of the room. I'm like, oh god, these are arms, and they're like reaching out over top of the ceiling. But then they start
That was a
forming.
good book.
Yeah.
Forming downwards, and they're not arms, they're wings. It starts becoming wings, and that is, and I talk about it slow. It happened way faster than I describe it, because that's the point in time where I got up and left the room and went to my best friend's bedroom. I woke her up. She's laughing. I did not tell her what I saw. I just said, look, I'm really, really tired. Just come sit with me. And she's just like, oh, that's so funny. Like, you're fine. It's not fatal. You're gonna be okay. And because I'm like visibly upset, like I'm shaking and everything. And she's just like, you're fine. And I just chalked it up to engaging in adult activities and thinking that maybe that was the case. And but I've never had a history of hallucinating on anything like that before. It does not do that to you unless
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Are those
Right.
reactions for you typical of reading?
No,
or
not at all. Not at all. And I've been reading for a long time. So that's nothing, and nothing like that has ever happened again. As a matter of fact, I make a joke to people now. I'm like, the last time I read, I saw the moth. Because I stopped doing it. I did. And it was years and years later when, like I said, somebody shared a very similar experience to me. They were very forthcoming. They said, look, me and my boyfriend, we had some gummies, but they were in a hotel in Atlanta, Georgia. They saw it peeking in their third floor hotel window first. And then when they looked out the window,
Peeping Tom.
Peeping Tom, he was flying around. And so when she said that, I was like, oh my God, it just unlocked this memory that like I said, I just buried it because I didn't believe in anything like this. I went to school for science, I didn't believe in this stuff. And so when it happened to me, I was just like, there's some explanation. I don't know what it is, but it's something normal.
Maybe Mothman is just asking to participate in the reading.
He might have wanted to read, and I should have offered.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I'd be flying all the time and it'd be stressful. I just need me some books.
Read a good book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that probably. I have to tell that story. I go around giving lectures and stuff about it, and everybody wants to know my story, and then I have to tell. And I always have to find some fun new way. I think I'm just gonna stick with reading.
You should stick with that.
I like
That's good. That's good.
Oh,
You got some
what
people that might not catch that reference though. They'd be going, "What's she reading?"
And some sci-fi novels.
I mean,
Oh, I love that. Maybe we should start calling him by his real name, Timothy.
Oh gosh.
The channel is
what
some
happened?
interesting stuff.
What happened in like 2019 that
Sure.
kinda, I don't want to
So-
drag up any bad.
No, not at all. I've made it my career to talk about it, so it's fine. No, it's like I said, it's significant, and eventually, I am working on a Mothman documentary. I hate to put it out there. Everybody wants a release date. I don't have one. It's an ongoing investigation, and people are just going to have to be satisfied with that.
yet.
It took John Keel 7 years to write the Mothman prophecies, so that's
Yeah.
just the way it is. And it's just me doing it, so there's that too. Anyway,
One woman show.
Yeah.
exactly, and it's really hard to make a feature length documentary by yourself. I found out.
Yeah.
There's a reason why people don't. Anyway, so some of it will be in there, and will be a little bit better to visualize. But some examples that I can give, like I said, we experience these weird synchronicities, and right before we went, so we met this guy. This guy was a friend, one of my friends. So she had a YouTube channel that was pretty successful. He had a YouTube channel that had like 250,000 subs.
Wow.
And I'm not going to plug it because he's a jerk, but he had a big channel that focused mostly on like video games and like, creepy pastas around video games and stuff like that. It was a creepy type of channel. Anyway, so she had been talking to him for a couple of years. I had talked to him a little bit, and like I said, we eventually became romantically involved. We were kind of romantically involved right before that, but we never thought we'd meet each other. And at the time, I happened to be a very promiscuous person, and I've always been very confident and not shy. And we go and pick him up. He gets into town. We go pick him up to meet him. And I don't think it's him exactly. I think it was something going on with me. I couldn't look at this guy. I couldn't even look at him. I couldn't stop shaking. Like I've never been that nervous around anybody in my entire life. And I don't think I was necessarily nervous because of him. In hindsight, I think it was the situation. And we pick him up, we get out of the car, and him and I have like an alone moment. And he's like, "You don't like me, do you?" Like, it's not that I don't like you.
What would tell you that?
Right. I was like, no, it's not you. But I just blurted out of my mouth, "This is gonna get weird. This weekend's gonna be weird. This is gonna be significant." And I don't know why I said that. I know now, kind of. But that was kind of the start of it. And so we go to Point Pleasant, and we just experience all these little things. Our Airbnb had wood paneling on the walls, and one of the pieces of wood paneling is like straight up the shape of a Mothman, and it's not on purpose. It was. I was sitting outside one of the mornings, and a crow is like, it sounds crazy, but a crow shows up and tries to get me to like follow it out into the woods.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't. I did a little bit, and I was like, what am I doing?
No,
Yeah,
crow's
no.
gonna lead me astray.
Like, what?
Could have been Odin. You never know now.
It's like, I'm nuts. I felt crazy. I was like, I'm gonna go follow an animal. This is crazy. So
Police pick you up. I don't know what happened. I was following a crow into the forest.
Yeah.
out here. I decided not to follow. I wish I had now, but I wasn't the same person that I am now. So, silly things like that. We got done eating, and we go outside of the restaurant, and I stopped, and we're standing there talking, and he goes, "Oh my God, look down." And I look down, and at my foot, there's a dead moth, like right there. Stop right up to a dead moth on the ground at a random restaurant. And then, at one point, this one's really crazy. And this one's neat because I have full photographic and video evidence of it. So we stop at a pharmacy. Okay. The people that we were with, the other couple we were with, they had to find a pharmacy. And we were about an hour away from Point Pleasant itself because we had to book an Airbnb that was super far away. And I remember this significantly. So the main pharmacy chain in Pleasant, or in West Virginia, is Fruith's. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Shay knows Fruith's Pharmacy. So we stop at a Fruith's Pharmacy.
Rite Aid, CVS.
Yeah, right. And we don't have Fruith's in Ohio. We've got the other stuff, but no Fruith's. So it's, anyway. So we stop, and I get out of the car while they're in the pharmacy, and I'm standing there, and there's like an old newspaper stand. And it says real big on the side of the newspaper, "Signs of the Times." And I was like, "Oh my God, a literal sign!" It's not, because we kept joking about that all weekend. It's a sign. It's a sign. There was a literal sign. I'm standing there and take a selfie. I take a picture of the sign, of the Signs of the Times, and we go on about our life. In 2020, I think it was 2022. Might have been 2021. It doesn't matter. Recently. I went to the Braxy Bazaar. That's a Flatwoods Monster Festival, another West Virginia monster, so to speak. And I had actually hitched a ride with somebody who was selling stuff at the festival. They live in Ohio too, and I said, "Hey, can you pick me up along the way? Go with you?" They said, "Yeah, absolutely." But we hardly know each other. Probably a bad idea, but it was fine. And we go into town the first night, and we stop the first night about halfway through and stayed at like an Airbnb. Well, we get there super late. It's like 11:30 at night, and we're having a hard time finding the Airbnb. So we're like walking around. We're like physically outside of the car, walking around in this little know-nothing town, West Virginia. And I like see a site. I see a fruits pharmacy, and every time I see a fruits pharmacy, I think of Signs of the Times.
Mhm.
And I start kind of looking at it. I'm like, that's weird. Looks familiar. The next morning, we wake up when there's daylight, and I get an idea. I still have that selfie, and I look at it, and then I pick up my phone and I turn it into like selfie mode, and I'm like carrying it around with me, and I'm like looking at the background, like, is this? And sure enough, I'm in the same town
Oh,
that
you're
I was that
kidding.
day, and both times I didn't choose it, and I don't know what that means. Does
Do
it
you
mean
remember where you
anything?
were?
I do have it in here, but I don't remember. It is a small town.
That's
I'm
odd,
trying to
though.
think like an hour away from Point Pleasant,
Yeah,
where
but
you would have
well,
been in.
probably about an hour, 45 minutes. So it's got to be between Point Pleasant and Sutton, because the second time we were on our way to
Yeah.
Sutton. Hold on. I think I have it. I think I can have it real quick. Oh, maybe I
That's-
don't.
Well,
Not real quick anyway. I have it.
The town didn't give like picket fences, creepy town vibe, did it? Or
But yeah, I mean, have you ever been to
It's
West
West Virginia.
Guys?
We have a
I've
lot of
driven
those.
through an 81. That's about it. And I think when I was
What?
flying as a flight medic, maybe
Yeah.
once we stopped, but yeah, not really.
It's not picket fences. It's like, I mean, it's like a
half at butted chain link and
run down. I could easily purchase meth from probably about anybody standing around.
Or
I mean,
she
it
probably
wasn't
could have went into the pharmacy and the pharmacist would have known somebody who could have
Yeah.
hooked her up.
right. I got to look it for you. Hold on. Can I see your special pharmacy wares? They're like, yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's typical West Virginia town, but it's like it's not nitro. Nitro's all right. I've got it somewhere. I just don't have it immediately on me, but I have both pictures.
Just
in video.
odd.
Mhm.
But it is
Very
weird. Right?
odd.
It is weird, and it's stuff like that. Like I said, is it? Some people are like, it's coincidence. It can't happen over and over and over and over and over again, and then you just go, it's a coincidence.
It would have been a pretty darn good coincidence.
Yeah.
The same place that I haven't picked both times. I mean, that doesn't just happen.
But did you go look and see what the newspaper said?
There were no actual papers in the stand, or I would have bought one. I mean, because we were just so high on life that week. I'm sorry, we were reading on life that weekend, and we would have bought one, because we thought we got a kick out of it. It's a literal sign. Look at it, it's a sign.
Was the
but
sign
that
still
happened.
on the newspaper?
Well, no, I was meaning like the second time. Did you go see?
The newspaper stand wasn't there anymore.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
But so it's like the fruits was in like a building that's like attached to other buildings,
Yeah.
small West Virginia town. And the one building that I had taken the selfie outside of was a bank that had these like giant brick arches on the front of it.
Gotcha.
And so that's how I could tell from the selfie exactly where it was. I mean, of course, some things were changed because
yeah.
these are, 2 to 3 years difference. Like I said, I don't remember if it was 21 or 22.
Yeah.
But yeah, the actual newspaper stand wasn't there anymore. I have seen them though, other places, and maybe that's the part I should pay attention to.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
So
Could be. What was it in Men in Black? They went and read the news to find out what was going on. So
That's true.
maybe Hollywood was trying to tell us something.
maybe
Maybe.
they're sign of the times, but it's a little West Virginian public. I don't think it's in production anymore. Maybe it is. So that's the kind of stuff that has been happening to me, and it's so small. So another thing that I ended up becoming an expert and, so to speak, is Indrid Cold, which is kind of part of the Mothman lore.
Please tell me your opinion.
Is what did you say?
It's a hard opinion.
Indrid Cold.
So Indrid Cold, I'll give the quick version. 9 days before the famous Mothman chase that happened in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, with the Scarberries and the Mallets, was Woodrow Derenberger meeting Indrid Cold. He is driving home from work at night. He's about 40 miles away from the general Mothman area, from Point Pleasant itself. And he has stopped by a spaceship, and it kind of lands, and a guy comes out, and it's just a guy. It's just a regular looking human guy. And he gets out and starts speaking to Woodrow telepathically. And anyway, it's a whole nother topic for another day, I promise. And it's interesting into a lifelong friendship that these two had. So this regular Joe, Woodrow Derenberger, had this special relationship with an alien. And it seems very out there. And I know, trust me, again, this is, I like to be skeptical. That's kind of the point of doing what I do. If I can find logical reasoning to a story or even reasons not to believe it, then I just kind of move on to the next thing. But there's plenty of things that I can explain, and this is one of those things. So a lot of people think that Indrid Cold and the Mothman have some type of not relationship, but there's some correlation there, right? It's so close to the area. John Keel investigated both, and he kind of implies that there's maybe some type of relationship there. As a matter of fact, you hear and see more about Indrid Cold in the Mothman Prophecies movie than you do Mothman. So, but there really is no correlation as far as what Indrid says. So I have to, of course, study and research and find out everything that I can. Yes, he was I think he was a sewing machine salesman was what he was, but small appliance, what's it matter?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I research it. Well, I find out his daughter, Woodrow's dead, but his daughter is alive and well. And not just that, she has written her own book about Indrid because she was 4 years old when this happened. She knows Indrid. She's met Indrid. She still has a relationship with Indrid. And they go ahead and have this, she's now currently speaks to him. So I reach out to Tanya Derenberger and make the decision that, look, if I'm ever going to meet Indrid, if he's real, then I need to become really good friends with Tanya. And that's going to be the ticket. I can't just go and interview her and just, okay, bye. That was a great story and see you later.
Right.
You have to trust there. Why would she introduce me out of all these other people she's talked to Indrid Cold?
Yeah.
But we do, and we actually hit it off great. She's a very interesting woman. Aside from the Indrid stuff, led a very interesting life. And we get really close. And, anytime that I had questions, about Indrid or for Indrid, I could ask her, and then she would relay it to me. She said that Indrid knows about me, and, maybe we could one day. Right. So things get really interesting. And I'm skeptical the whole time because that's a big, why can't I just meet the guy? Take a picture of him. Let's see what he looks like.
Yeah.
And none of that has ever happened. Well, by the time I met her, she had really bad MS. She was wheelchair bound. And I mean, to the point to where I think I'm the last autographed book that she ever sold because she couldn't hardly even sign it. I met her for the first time at a Dunkin' Donuts and where is that? Oh my gosh. It's a terrible place in West Virginia. A terrible town.
Huntington.
What was it?
So probably Huntington.
No, it wasn't Huntington. It's like right on the border. Oh well. Parkersburg. That's right. I remember now. Parkersburg, West Virginia. Anyway, so I kind of forget. Okay, she can't take a picture because her hands don't work right. All right, maybe that makes sense. And I've gone back and forth with this for years and trying to just rationalize it away. She's lying. She's grifting. She makes money off of this. She doesn't. Eventually, I'd gone to her house. She's not making any money off of this. She's hardly even getting recognition. It's not like she's going on all these shows all the time. And I mean, she's been in some things, but I think I've done more shows than she has in my 4 years than she has in her whole lifetime. And, there's no real good reason to lie about it. Well, eventually she ends up in the hospital very sick. And her daughter had reached out to me, one of her daughters, and I've never talked to any of her kids. As a matter of fact, I know that they all have a very bad relationship. And, she's like, Mom, she's, don't trust her. She's just, don't ever give her any money. She's just terrible, this, that, and the other. Well, then she wants to know how I'm involved with her mom. How do you know my mom? Or, what's the deal there? And I tell her, oh, well, because the Indrid stuff. And she's just like, oh, yeah. So if she was running some type of scheme, if she was running some type of scam on people, if she was grifting about the Indrid story, why wouldn't her daughter, who just told me their mom's a scam artist, not then be like, yeah, well, that's made up? And she
Yeah.
didn't deny any of it. Well, sadly, Tanya passed away May of last year, so it's still pretty new. Um, I have some things of Tanya's that I'd like to put out there. But I'm not going to do so without her family's permission. Again, we were very close. I was helping her kind of put together her latest book. I've got all of it. But I want to know, I want to talk to them. I want to talk to her kids about Indrid. Surely they know him, right? They've met him. Does he still come around? What's the deal there? But I didn't want to start bombarding them with those questions when she died,
Right.
and they were nice enough to reach out to me to let me know that she did. But yeah, so anyway, so up to speed. Now, I'm doing a lot of different things with my podcast. One of the things we talked about doing is utilizing TikTok. And again, I didn't do social media until 2019. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm an old person. Okay. I don't know what the kids do. And so I've been trying to use it. I have my accounts, and I had made a TikTok account when it came out, but I'm just kind of using my personal account and just trying to figure out how it works. Lately, I've been getting notifications on my phone, and TikTok will be like, "Hey, so and so just followed you," and because I don't use it a lot, it'll usually be like, "So and so followed you," and 3 other people or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I get a notification one day. Tanya Derenberger is following you, and this was
Oh.
like 2 months ago,
Oh.
and Tanya's dead.
Wow.
So I'm like, well, that's weird. So I go look. Maybe it's somebody used her name. I don't know. It's her account. It's not active now, but it is her. It was her account, and I'm like, interesting. But I just chalk it up to TikTok being TikTok. This has now happened 2 more times since I've had it, and I have been working on specifically trying to get in touch with Indrid Cold in very creative and interesting ways. I've been trying to utilize necromancy. I've been trying to just meditate. I mean, anything and everything I can think of to try to contact this character. I've been attempting it because I want to talk to him. Do I believe that Indrid?
It's
go
a little
ahead.
nutty, because he seems like he was a relatively positive force in all their lives, but I feel like the movie almost kind of villainized him to a point, or made him into like a scary character.
Yeah.
They were very unhappy with the portrayal of them in the movie, especially Woodrow seems nuts.
Yeah.
They made him a guy, and he wasn't. He's been psychologically evaluated and cleared. And that was the crazy thing about the real story. The real story is that he was psychologically evaluated. The psychologist that evaluated him and cleared him said, well, he's not crazy. And I know this not just because I evaluated him, but because I've talked to Indrid. Like, I know this guy.
Oh, wow.
And then there's all these people that have come forward and they're like, oh, we've seen him. We know him. People used to camp outside of the Derenberger house waiting for a glimpse of Indrid. And sure enough, here he come up. He drove a black VW Beetle. And here come this mysterious car with this person that nobody knew in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia, where they know everybody. Plenty of people have claimed to talk to him. It's just he hasn't sat down with a government official saying, hey, I'm Indrid Cold. I'm from Lanulos, So everything's there, everything but the body. And so I'm interested in the body at this point.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
do you think it might be her daughters using her account, or do you think it might be scammers using her account? Or
I don't think anybody's using it. I think it's inactive. I mean, when I look at it, there's been no signs of life at all on it. It's definitely her account. It's just that, she died and she didn't deactivate it before she died.
But she's followed you?
3 times. 3 times it's popped up and told me.
Have you tried to follow it back, or do you follow her?
I do follow it back already. And so I guess I could message it and see. I think I could message it and see. Just like, hey, Indrid, what's up?
Yeah, see if you get any response.
He might know which hand you're holding the chapstick in.
I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I mean,
I'll
he
ask.
might be reaching out. That might be the only way he has to do it.
It could be, like I said, to my knowledge, and Tanya says that he knows who I am.
Yeah.
We interviewed her obviously for the podcast. She said he's listened to that episode. And according to him, and I can only take Tanya's word through Indrid's word, he has absolutely no connection at all to the Mothman. So
Okay.
that's what he says.
It almost comes across a little bit like it could be like Tanya reaching out from
That's possible.
beyond.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. She didn't have a lot of friends, so I mean, I could see that,
Yeah.
especially in her old, disabled state. People just don't stick around, for people like that once they become a little less useful to them. So who knows? Tanya was very interesting. I would love to just write about her and everything that, she has been, she's a domestic violence survivor twice married. They bred to St. Bernards for a really long time. She was a big activist in the muscular, the MS community. She's done a lot outside of Indrid, and unfortunately all of that just gets overshadowed by the fact that Indrid, and even that's not very popular. Like I said, people, I think, are intimidated to reach out to some of these people that have these experiences, which is unfortunate because
It is.
I think they like the fact that people are interested in their story, and I don't blame them. So,
yeah. Well, Ashley, we don't want to take up too much more of your time. Tell everybody where they can find you, and obviously you're working on a book and a movie and all that. So, tell us any good details you got, and promise you're going to come back visit us.
Yes, to all of that, of course. Yeah. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing, you can follow me on Facebook, Ashley Hilt. I'm the one with the red hair. And Twitter and Instagram at It's Ashers with a Z. And then, of course, you can come listen to on Wednesdays We Talk Weird. There's a new episode actually every Monday and Wednesday now. You can listen to it anywhere you listen to podcasts. So
cool. All right.
Very cool.
Well, come back and see us and keep us updated too. I think you and Cheyenne there got a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, we got Mothman stuff to talk
geek out.
about.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Ashley, I'm going to let you get out of here. It's time for a hard break for the WDJY people. So we'll let them get their commercial break in, and we will talk to you soon, Ashley.
It's good to meet you.
Hi, guys.
It's great
Bye.
to meet you.
I say I'm supposed to be the technical one that knows which button to push.
Yeah, Goofy.
Yeah, there it is. There we go. All right. I got
I didn't
Ashley.
realize the time was up. I was ready to keep talking.
Yeah,
I was watching it. I was watching the time, and I'm just like, just keep talking. Just keep talking.
I know. And I hate to do that, but I'm up against the hard break with WDJY and WRFN in Nashville.
I'm such a woman of the evening when it comes to Mothman.
Hey, there you go. Well, you know what? Anytime Ashley can come back, I'd welcome it. I'd really appreciate it, actually.
Let's have her back.
All right. Well, Shay, get her on. Hook her up on the schedule. Make her regular if you want to. That's fine with me. All right. Well, let me find the other button to push for WDJY here, and we will be right back.
Let's get ready to rumble!
I'm Miranda Maverick, and when I'm in fight camp, I never listen to the Sportcat podcast.
I scared myself. The entire screen went away. I was on another screen altogether, and it totally went away. All right. Well, welcome back to DJY and WFRN. Also want to tell you, if you're listening live, we're on yurgsradio.com. You're free to call in at any point in time with any questions for any of us. 1-888-88-YERGZ on your phone pad. Our next guest, Tom Franklin. Well, he has sent me his bio, and I'm going to be honest, I've read over it a little bit, but I think Tom would probably be best to tell his story rather than me. So he's backstage. Let's bring him out. Hey, Tom, how are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me on.
Hey.
On the
Thanks
top.
for being here.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Deanna. Hi,
Hello.
Shay. And hello. Hi.
Hi.
Greetings from Mexico.
How are you?
Greetings.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the time difference there?
We're on Central Time in this part of Mexico,
Oh,
but they don't do daylight savings time, so it is currently 8 p.m.
okay. All right. Well,
Couple
we're not
hours
keeping you
ahead
up.
of you.
When we have our European guests, they're like, it's 2 a.m. here. I'm sorry.
Well, I lived in Europe for 20 years, so I know their pain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you said I saw in your bio you were in Germany for quite some time with the government. So
No, that was only shortly. That was only shortly. I was stationed there when I was in the military, and then I ended up staying there with my ex-wife for 20 years.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so tell us a little bit about yourself, Tom. I could read it, but you'd be better to tell it than me.
Yeah, I don't know. I've lived a pretty interesting life. I've been in the military, and I'm a windsurfer, snowboarder, painter, stand-up comedian, and now I'm a podcaster. And I really enjoy all things strange and unusual. And I try to get to the heart of the matter because a lot of people coming forth with cryptid encounters or paranormal encounters. I try to get on a personal level with them, and at the same time try to bring a little bit of levity to the situation, because a lot of times a lot of people like myself, being former military, I suffer from a bit of PTSD. So if I can kind of help people like get their story out, because a lot of this stuff, even now with the internet and podcasting being the way it is still kind of like frowned upon. So I try to provide a space, to use modern lingo, to have people come on and have a good time and tell their story. That's what I do currently. I live now in Mexico. I left from Europe because of a certain thing that happened about 4 years ago, and that's not for me. My liberty of my body and my spirit and my mind and my speech are paramount in my worldview. And I came down to the Yucatan Peninsula and bought myself 10 acres of off-grid property, and I put solar in and a well, and I'm still building on it. And currently I am installing solar panels and building houses to try to offset the change in the money. So yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell.
Cool.
Jack of all
It's
trades.
interesting life.
Yeah.
So,
But the master of none.
yeah,
All right.
that's the key. So when we first started talking, you were talking about Hatman. You had some personal experiences with Hatman, and that's one that a lot of people don't even know about. So tell us about, if you
I didn't
don't
even know
mind.
it was Hatman. No, I'm an open book. We can talk about anything. We can talk about from my favorite color to my favorite food or anything in between. That doesn't matter to me. I also had, before that, I had a very strong poltergeist encounter. But the Hatman, I was 23, 24, and I was practicing. We were recording in my band room in Germany in the industrial area. And we were like, okay, my guitarist had to leave. So we're like, okay, let's get into this room for a whole weekend. Let's rent some drum mics and let's do it all live, and let's record until we get it where we like it. So I can't remember which day it was, but it was in the evening, Friday or Saturday evening. This building is very old. I think it's pre-World War II, and it's four stories. And I was on the third. My band was on the third story, as a central stairwell. When you leave out of the central stairwell, there's like a circular like hallway that goes around the stairwell, and then there's like in each corner a door that takes you to different parts of the building on that floor. And my room was situated in the long hallway. At the very end, you make a right turn, then you make another right turn into the room. So I'm trying to give you a little bit of trying to set the story, I guess. And so I'm sitting in the room in my couch. We're like, in between songs, having a beer, shooting shit, whatever. And I'm sitting on the couch, and there's the doorway shines into the hallway. So the hall is dark. The door is open, so there's that rectangular shine onto the other side, but at an angle. Yeah. So we're sitting there, and I hear in the hallway someone, like I hear a door open and the door shut, which is perfectly normal because this place has a lot of musicians and people who do mixing, mastering, and recording and stuff. So I didn't think nothing of it. I hear footsteps. Didn't think anything of it. And then like about 5 minutes passed, and something told me to look towards the doorway. And as I did that, this shadow, a little bit taller than the door, passed right in front of it, just kind of like at this speed. And to describe it, it was wearing a hat. And the hat is like, do you remember Spy versus Spy? To give you like a reference, like the old cartoon.
Yeah.
It's not a cowboy hat, and it's not like a derby, but it's somewhere in between.
Right.
It was a very defined shadow. Had a hat, but you couldn't see any arms, any legs. And it passed in front of the door, and I was like, what is that? What did I just see? I couldn't believe it. And my buddies, 3 of them, noticed me because they were facing me when I was talking to them, and they're like, what's wrong? And I was like, I said it in German. And so I walked, came to me. That's why my brain farted there for a second. I had to figure out what I was talking about. And so I said, I don't know. So I walked to the door, and to the right, there's a stairwell that goes down. It's like a fire escape. I didn't hear that door open, so I looked. There's nothing there. I looked out the left side. There was nothing there, and they were like, "What did you see?" I said, "I see a shadow in front of me."
Huh.
And so it was pretty weird. It wasn't as traumatizing as the Poltergeist encounter. And I didn't even know it was called a Hatman until I talked to a gentleman that I met here, and we started a podcast that eventually, we went our separate ways, and he's doing well, and I'm doing pretty good. He's doing a little better than me, but he's pretty good at marketing. And
it's a learning curve, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I've been having audio issues. That's why I'm back on my old microphone. Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, you've seen a Hatman?" And I was like, "What's that?" And then I looked it up. And
Yeah.
you can Google it, or whatever. And the first picture you see is exactly what I saw. Very tall. I would say it was somewhere between 6'5", 6'6" to 7 feet tall, somewhere in there. And it looked like it was wearing like a trench coat, so you couldn't see any arms or limbs, but you seen this distinct hat in like the shape of even the chin was very, kind of like Clint Eastwood, like, you know what I mean? But with like Clint Eastwood, like in one of those movies in the 70s, whatever. Kind of like that, but it's just completely black and very well defined.
You're giving me chills because to describe exactly something that I seen in my grandmother's house.
Wow.
And I was when you said the hat, describe the hat, I was like, wait a minute, yes. And Dina, I know you remember the thing about that was in the doorway of the bathroom when I woke up.
Yeah.
I woke up in the middle of the night to go pee, and it was thundering, lightning outside. So I thought, and when you walk out of the bedroom, if you go left, you fall immediately down the stairs. If you go right, you go to the bathroom. If you go straight, you're into a second bedroom or a third bedroom. And so I went right into the bathroom. I'm standing there in the bathroom, a small bathroom. It's a 1947 house, and it's overlooking the backyard. And I'm thinking, it doesn't look, it's raining out there. It's a city. It's outside of Washington, D.C. in the suburbs, so it's fairly well lit at night.
Oh, wow. I'm from Baltimore. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm from Fairfax, Northern Virginia. Yeah. So
okay, yeah.
I look out the window, and I realize, as I'm still kind of coming awake in my sleep, it's not lightning outside. It's not raining outside. And so I kind of look over to my right, and if you've ever been in the old houses with the medicine cabinets, this has a medicine cabinet. It's basically a little shelf with a mirror on it that opens up, and it's a little closet cubby, that they put on walls back in the 50s. And I looked at that mirror, and I was standing in the doorway, and the lightning was coming off of it. I mean, it was like electroplasm coming off of it, lighting up the room. And I was like, this is, of course, a very odd position to be in because, well, I'm either going out that window up off the second story down probably onto the oil tank and break a leg, or I'm going through this thing. And I'm standing here. Well, I was peeing. I mean, let's just be quite honest. I was in a compromised position.
Yeah, but also not anymore.
Exactly. I was not. So it had to drop on me. And that was the last night I slept at my grandmother's house. The very last night I slept at my grandmother's house. It was up for sale, actually, I don't remember if it was around that time or not long thereafter. That was the very last time I slept in that house. If I did, it was on a couch downstairs, and every light was on in the house. So,
Wow.
So,
Yeah, it can be quite traumatic. You know, when people like there's still a lot of people and skeptics. I don't mind skeptics and people who don't believe in all that. Just don't be rude, or because people's experiences are their experiences, and everyone's a non-believer until something like that happens to them, and then they're like, okay, and then you get like really interested in it. You know what I mean? Which is why these shows exist to begin with.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it obviously went like back. It just disappeared. So I didn't go back to sleep. But yeah, things that could change you. You're right. So yeah. So what I have my thoughts on what it is. I mean, I'll open up and tell you if you want.
I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it.
I think it was more of a demonic type thing because of the house.
Okay.
I mean, the history and stuff that was there.
From like a religious view or perspective.
Yes.
Okay.
I got no positive energy off of that whatsoever, and I grew up very, very strict religion. So to call that anything other than that would be off to me. But I can't tell you what it is exactly. I mean, it's an entity of some kind. It obviously came formed. I saw it. It went away. Other people have seen it.
They're also blacker than black too. Like you can be in a pitch black room. It literally absorbs. Yes, and it's blacker than black itself. They can be very shocking. I've heard a lot of to the podcasting, I've heard stories of people, where they wake up and these things are right over top of their face with glowing eyes, and it can be very traumatizing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You say that reminds me of one of the other stories. The other haunted house I grew up in two of them. I was such a fortunate childhood. I found later in life by mistake when I went back, just driving through the area with my kids at the time, and I was like, hey, I lived here. The house was actually for sale. I call my mom. I'm like, hey, is this the address? It looks like the house from my memory. And she's like, yeah, that's the address. I was like, oh, well, it's for sale. I'm just going to go, peek in the windows. Nobody will think anything weird about it then. My wife, my oldest daughter, actually my middle daughter may have been there as well, but my son were there. All three were there. All three of my kids go up to the house, and I'm going to peek in and look. And I'm like, what the hell? They spray painted the windows. My wife's like, what are you talking about? She's like, there's the kitchen table. There's this, there's that. I was like, what? The only thing I could see, it looked like there was a total pitch black screen, LCD display in front of that. And I could not see in. Wife, kids, they could all see in. I could not. I managed to catch a glimpse of the ceiling fan spinning, but I could not. And I had the eeriest, weirdest feeling, something saying, get the hell out of here. And it was funny. My son found a toy soldier on the way out, like one little army green men you shoot with rubber bands when we had the violent childhood growing up, So he saw one of those.
It was great, wasn't it?
It was great. I didn't wear a helmet. I was outside all the time.
I didn't know where my friends were. It was a good time.
Exactly. So he wanted to pick this up and bring it with me. I'm like, oh no, nothing from this. Don't bring dirt from this place, because I could feel the energy. And but yeah, my wife could see it. My oldest daughter, but I don't know if my son would remember it, but they could see in, I couldn't. And it was just feeling like, get away, like F you, I don't want you here. And it was a really weird feeling.
And this was at the moment. At the moment in time, you were saying, I can't see anything. Like, what's wrong with you? And it's right there. And you're like, I can't see. It was like that.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
That's so odd.
And it was like you said, it was like somebody had spray painted black over the windows. Because that's what I said. I was like, why would they spray paint the windows black? Of course, I was thinking, well, haunted house, maybe it's, whatever, some witchcraft involved or something. But they're like, there's the kitchen table's right there.
You could be marked somehow, too.
Possibly,
You can be marked
yeah.
somehow too. You're bringing a certain energy.
Yeah.
And then like whatever's in there knows that you know something. And it's just like, no, not for you.
That's possible.
Yep. Yeah, nothing for you. So yeah, I didn't get anything out of that visit. I won't go back. I can tell you that. I did get that out of it, but yes, and that's the other thing. You know, you talk to these people. Like we just had Ashley on here, and we talk about. She used the word synchronicity, but things just happening. You just happen to be in the right time, the right place. It's weird. And there's lots of people out there that experience that. So enough about me. Everybody here's heard my story. Cheyenne's down there writing a journal already.
But so you know, this was all for me. This was all for me. I feel very special.
Well, we want you to. We want you to. So was that the only experience you've had with?
No. With Hatman, yes, with Hatman, only that one.
Okay.
But I've had when I was 8 years old, I was kind of forced to live with my grandmother and my whole family because we were switching houses and jobs, and you know how it gets. Sometimes you kind of have to rely on family. And so we lived in this row home, 337 South Fulton Avenue in Baltimore, Maryland. So I know exactly where it is because it's burned in my mind. That's kind of like the reason why a lot of this, even me speaking to you now, exists to begin with, is because of this. This group of experiences that I had. So you have to go up the steps when you're in the upper part of the house. To the left is the front room looking out into the street, and then you have to go through to go to the right. You go through the room to get to the next room, then you go through that room to get to the bathroom in the back. So there's no corridor, no hallway. Yeah. And my parents had in the middle room, so there's no windows, and we had the back room adjacent to the bathroom. So I'm 88. So I was 8 years old, and my sister's 7 years old. And so my parents were both previously in a marriage before they got married. And I was the firstborn, and then my sister. And my mother still had custody or partial custody of her daughter from her first marriage. And every time she came over, like these poltergeist things happen. I didn't know that's what it was called at the time, of course. Yeah. 8 years old. I didn't watch the movie with the guy from Coach yet. Can't think it was there right now. Something Nelson, but I can't remember.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. It's in the TV. It's going to really bother me that I can't remember his name. Anyhow, so every time she came over, these things would happen. So I don't remember if this was one day or there's a part of me that says it's multiple days, but I remember it as if it was one because it's 30 something. And like she would come over, so I would be, the hallway is in front of us. Well, not the hallway, but the door to here, and then the door to the bathroom is in front of us, and the beds are here. And I'm on the right side of the room if you're looking out that way, and you're on the left side of the room in the bed. So there's separate beds, two girls here, and I'm here. And, we're trying to go to sleep. We turn the lights off, and the bedtime was 9:30, whatever it was. I don't remember. And the lights started flickering off and on. Like, for real, guys. Like,
I believe you.
And I'm, and honestly, my younger sister was the brave one in all this. And then I was the chicken that's, honestly, really, was my younger sister, then my older sister, and then me. I was super scared.
You were the
lights
baby.
Are flickering off and on. No, I was the middle child.
Oh, well, still, you were young.
And the boy, too. There's always that
You're
pressure.
still young.
Yeah, I was young. Yes, I was young. Thank you. Deanna, as a mom, too, I can already feel that motherly energy. Thank you so much for making me feel comfortable.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so my little sister's like, I'm going to go downstairs and tell that mom and dad. I'm like, okay. So she goes down the steps and they're like, how parents can be,
Yeah.
Which is a big point of contention with me. Like, listen to your kids. They're not always full of crap.
Right.
Sometimes they're saying something of importance.
Yes.
So, she comes up, they're not listening to me. I go, okay, let's try to go back to sleep. Turn the lights off. Then the light starts flickering off and on, and we had like shoes along the wall. That wall, we walk in the doorway, and there's the wall on the left side directly, and there's shoes kind of there, and like a little dresser, and and there's something else there that I'll get into in a minute. And so the lights are flickering off and on, and shoes were being thrown around the room, like
Oh my!
they were hitting me. I was screaming. They were hitting my sisters. They were screaming, and I mean crying and like, "Oh, help us! What is going on?" And my parents hear all this ruckus, and they're yelling up the steps, "Stop messing around!" And they use other language, but blah 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 blah. Stop! Stop messing with your younger siblings. The older sister. Her name is Rhonda, and my younger sister is Jenny. And it kind of it kept coming back a little bit, going away a little bit, and at one point my younger sister, and she doesn't lie about these kind of things. I've had her on the early iteration of a podcast talking about some of the stories. Like she corroborated this story actually on the podcast. And she used to have, we're talking about old shows. You remember the show Alf, of course.
Yes.
And she had one of those little stuffed animals that sat in the high chair.
Uh-huh.
And but it didn't have the clip on the front. And she swears up and down to this day. I mean, she's 43, and she's like, "I seen it dancing. I seen it." She said it literally got up and was like moving and dancing around. This is what she told me. I didn't see this. This is what she told me.
Yeah.
But everything else happening, I wouldn't not believe it.
Right.
So this is still going on. There's like bangs. There's stuff being thrown. My sister goes, "I'm going to go tell him again." And she goes downstairs, and I, for some reason, was able to stand up this time in the bedroom. So I'm in that back room before the bathroom, and the door to that room swings into the room, and I'm standing where the door is. Okay, so just maybe I don't know, maybe a foot from it, something like that. Yeah. And so no, or whatever. She comes up the steps and she's right in front of the door, and I say to her, "So what did they say?" And then boom, the door slams in her face. And the only person who could have done it was me.
Yeah.
The only person who could have done it was me.
Yeah.
So I, there's was it flight, fight, or freeze? Yeah. And I froze.
Yeah.
I've never been that scared in my life ever again. And I was in Kosovo, for example. Right. You know what I mean? I mean, there was other things, different kind of fear. Right. But that was like a death fear, and this is more like, what in the world is going on? I don't understand 8 years old fear.
Yeah.
So she opens the door, and she says, "Did you slam the door in my face?" And I go, "No, I didn't do that." And she's like, "What happened?" I don't know. And she's like, "Come on, I'll take you to bed." And she like spins me around like Weekend at Bernie's because I couldn't walk.
Right.
And she like walked me back to my bed, and then like tucked me in. My little sister tucked me in, and then I would say maybe 10 minutes later, there's a gap between the wall and the bed, for mold reasons,
Right.
And I swear, guys, I feel all of a sudden this hand slided beside me and then put its hand on my chest.
Oh my gosh.
And I jumped out of the bed screaming. Yeah.
That would like freak me out. I would.
Oh yeah.
Front door.
Yeah. Not a fan. Yeah, not a fan.
No.
No. I would not put it on my bucket list. That's for sure. And and there was also another sensation I had after that, and then it kind of died down after because when she left, it was nothing. It was only when she was there, and she was, of course, the age of back now. 12, 13, and it was some traumatic experience, which is also the truth. I don't know all the details, but I know something happened.
Yeah.
And there was also a sensation of like air between the bottom sheet and the top sheet because it was summertime. There was this like sensation of like air being blown in there when it shouldn't be that way.
Right.
And that's basically it. But that was the scariest one of. I have another one too. Well, it's a couple of them that recently happened last year, and real recent. And the Hatman was just like the most what? Like what? What is that? So,
I think the Poltergeist one would be like the most what? For me, it'd be like what? The hell?
Well, it's a German word. I am a fluent German speaker, and I'm still working on my Spanish. But it means noisy ghost.
Yeah.
Right? And they use the same word in Germany. they actually have a custom there. Like when people get married, it's called Poltergeist, which is the night of noise. So what they do is both families get together in one of the two families' house. They go out in the driveway or they go out in front of the house, and they take dishes, and the whole family breaks the dishes on the street, and then they sweep it together and put it on the curb. So it's like to ward off evil spirits. So it has some type of lore from the past as well.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Every culture is different. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess every culture experience has their own things that go bump in the night, or at least they're described the same or differently depending on, the language. But for the most part, with a poltergeist, I feel like it's just a feeling, just an evil feeling you get. It's like that fear you describe, but it's worse. I mean, I can't, it's hard to put it in a word, but you get that sensation, but then you don't know what to do with it. You can't, your body doesn't process it. Like you freeze. Yeah. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the damnedest thing.
Crazy, huh?
And so for years after that, like every time a door squeaked because, wind outside or, like a,
yeah.
excuse me, or the house settled or anything like that, I would be like freaking out. My dad would be like, "Would you stop that?" You know what I mean? That wasn't real.
Oh my gosh.
And
yeah.
So not only is the thing happening to you, but you're getting pressure from above to conform to what someone else's concept of reality is, and it's just very unpleasant.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I remember a friend of ours, we used to have like a big barbecue grill in a backyard. It was a brick, had a fire pit, and it had a little grill beside it. And during the summers, we would all be outside. I mean, from childhood up, that's all I remember is during, it was warm out, we were out there. I remember one of my friends one night, he said he was going to his car to get something. And I saw him run past the garage, got in his car, drove off. I didn't hear from him for like a week. Of course, back then we didn't have cell phones or text or whatever. And finally I called him and we talked. He said there was this tall, dark thing standing in the window with a hat on. He called it a fedora and a cape, staring at me when I was going to my car. And he said, that was it. I was out. You all are on your own. I was like, oh, thanks for warning us.
Same house?
Yeah. And I remember we were all making fun of him. We were like, yeah, right, whatever, Kirk. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, then I don't know how many years later.
It's kind of a guy code too. That's a guy code too. Oh, you were afraid of the black thing in the window? There's guy code too.
Yeah.
That's when it's friends. That's fine. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's girl code too. So Laura, you didn't see that. But when it comes from an authority figure, a parental figure, and they yell at you after you being scared to death, it is not helpful. You know what I mean? Talk to your kids. Of course, they have active imaginations, and there's a lot of things they say that are not real. But at the same time, sometimes they are.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and or they yell at you and tell you it was a demon. It's gonna get you. It's gonna kill all your friends. Good times. We won't go into that.
Your parents were dark, dude.
There's a reason I have a podcast. Please like, follow, share, and subscribe, by the way. There's a reason for that. Hey, if we're going to tell the story, might as well market it, right? But,
that was fantastic, dude. I love that. Oh man, that was good. I gotta use that trick. That's a good trick.
It may make TikTok later. I don't know. Like Ashley, I'm still trying to learn TikTok. So, So, what do you? I mean, like I said, I described it, and I feel like it was some kind of spiritual thing. Of course, then I battled. There's also probably some kind of good thing. There's always good versus evil, they say. So, what is your thoughts on it?
Of what?
On good versus evil?
Yeah. I mean, as far as the things you've seen, are they pure evil? And have you ever seen? I don't say have you ever seen anything good. That's not the right way. But have you ever seen anything to overcome them?
Well, I mean, I learned some things. I mean, I'm not a Christian. I'm not a religious person, but I am a man of God. That's for sure. That's definitely a big part of who I am. I do know that the name Jesus Christ holds power to ward off these things, whether it be an alien abduction or a cryptid encounter or, the things we've been talking about. But are they evil? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think if harm is happening, yeah. But are they? I really don't know. Like, I'm in this, because you always have the scientific point of view. I took out my K2 meter and this, and that, and the other. And then there's the personal way of looking at things. And then there's the experience itself. So for me to make any judgment, I know I'm supposed to on these kind of podcasts, but I really don't have an answer. I think it's a phenomenon that is being more and more brought to light, which is kind of funny, like a reverse hun.
Yeah.
So I'm cracking myself up, guys. And but the more you look into these things, like, I've had some crazy stories come across my way. Like a ball of light. This guy was out, and a ball of light goes along the ground where they're having Bigfoot activity. His friend gets like 2 feet from the guy. He shines a flashlight on it, and it turns into a possum, hisses, and then runs away.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain that. Is that evil? Is it parallel universes or multidimensional beings, or is it
drugs?
Figments of our imagination? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, possible.
That's probably some good stuff right there. Whatever that is. You seen a possum, dude? All right. Yeah, but I believe the dude. He was some type of.
I think it'd be better if like the possum started like talking to him or something, not hissing at him and running away.
Well,
if the possum talked to him, I would definitely think drugs.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I have heard people say like they've seen like things like you just said, like just like what you said, like streaks of light that will turn into animals or something else, and it will be something just normal. And this phenomenon that because I don't know if more and more people are experiencing these strange phenomena or more people are coming out. I think it'll be a combination of both. I think so too.
But more and more people are experiencing these things, and the thing is like there's this level of like stardom when it comes. I want to address this. There's a level of like egoism that's involved in this. People who've had their experiences. We'll just take Bigfoot, for example. This is the real hot topic at the moment.
Yeah.
There's people who had experiences and they swear up and down, I've seen footprints, it's hair, it's an animal, it's flesh and blood. And then there's other people who've seen, UFOs and balls of light and portals, and they both fight. And it's like, look, all these phenomena fall under one thing. Let's try to go at it together. And it turns into like some kind of weird political thing, and I don't understand it whatsoever.
Right. It doesn't need to be. I mean, we could have differing opinions because nobody really knows what they are.
Well, we can also have different experiences.
Yeah, experiences too.
Yeah, everybody brings something different to the table.
Right, you can listen to a piece of music. Say it's Mozart. We'll just say something that everyone else likes.
Yeah.
You can listen to Mozart and you can feel one thing, and I can listen to Mozart and feel something else, but it doesn't mean I hate you now.
Oh, exactly.
You know what I mean? And I think that's lost, and when it comes to all society, that's lost, and I don't get that.
I think so too. It's really
100%. 100% agree with you on that. Yeah, because we need to be coming together more and having more unity than anything. And in the paranormal world, you're right. There's some people that, the ghost people don't like the alien people, the ET people don't like the Bigfoot people. It's like, come on, give me a break here. I've actually had it to where when I'll book a guest, and they'll say, well, who's before me or after me? I'll tell them, no, I won't come on that show. You got to come on another one. I'm like, really? There's a commercial break between you, for God's sakes. You know? But weird. So it is weird. It is weird, but these people do have real life experiences, and the ones that I like are the ones that have never had an experience and like to tell you how bad your experience is or how wrong your experience is. Or,
I thought you were going to say something totally different, but
I like the Bigfoot, since that's my world. The people that are experts on Bigfoot. So when was the last time you went camping? When was the last time you were out in the woods? Oh, I haven't been. How the F do you know?
How do you know what the heck's going on?
How do you know? The book tell you that? So, I don't like those people. Those people annoy me.
I think the ice cream on Mars is delicious.
Yeah.
You're not. You're like, you've been to Mars, dude. I think at a Mars candy bar. That's close enough, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know if they still make that candy bar. I don't think I've seen that one in forever.
I haven't lived in the States since 2000 and
Mars.
yeah, so I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't think I've seen that. Yeah, I think that and the Chunky went away. I was a fan of the Chunky. I'm a fat kid, so
They still
I
make
love the
Chunkies.
Chunky. I haven't seen any. At least down to the QTs in Georgia. So
Oh,
yeah. So,
I think they do.
are you enjoying your time off the grid down in Mexico? I have worked with so many doctors that tell me that is the thing to do, or go to the islands and do the same thing.
It depends what you're trying to do down here. I mean, a lot of people, what they do is they try to carry America with them and then lock themselves behind the gates because it's cheap. And they get to have the, Mai Tai coconut experience and then drink themselves to death before their retirement runs out. That's a true thing. I hate to be, dark or whatever about it, but it's just the truth. I don't have much of a choice. I mean, I'm living in a studio apartment with my Mexican girlfriend, and I'm out installing solar panels, trying to make a living for myself. And but I got to be honest with you, I really, really like it here. I did live in Europe for 20 years. I've been to Germany, Austria, France, Netherlands, many, many times, Denmark. And but these people here, like my girlfriend's a lawyer, and she makes like, $450 a month as a lawyer.
Wow.
Studied, diploma, went to university, lawyer. And then now imagine a regular person who's like a construction worker. They don't make much, and then you see how much they struggle, but at the same time you see how much they live life.
Yes.
And it makes you appreciate more how lucky, I guess you would say. I don't know the word for it exactly. For, being born in a place like the States or Europe or wherever else that's prosperous. And I really like it here because you get to see America from a different point of view. Mm-hmm. And most of the people that I've run across who've actually worked there and then came back, who worked legally or whatever, they put it as one of the big things in their life that happened, and they always want to talk about, I worked at an Applebee's in Wisconsin for 3 years and came back and it was great, and it's a really cool place though. But a lot of weird stuff down here too. There's a lot of witches, a lot of witch stuff. A lot of witch stuff. Everyone knows a witch, or everyone is a witch. There's that here. It's mixed with Catholicism. There's many places around here who still speak Mayan. Like there's towns who speak.
Oh, really?
Where a majority of people still speak Mayan.
Oh, wow.
They'll speak Spanish too. Yeah, and they have a lot of strange customs. Like Dia de los Muertos is the Day of the Dead. I'm sure you guys are aware of that.
Uh-huh.
But there's a town close by. It's called Poltergeist. And they once a year on this day will go and take out their loved ones, remains, and clean them all. They have hair, they still brush the hair, and they put them out in display in the cemetery for everyone to walk by and see them. And the more, I guess you would say, less deteriorated the body is, the happier they are, because that means they want to stay here with them. So it's a wild place, but it's a strange place, but it's also a very exciting and fun place.
Well, it's just different customs. I mean, it's just customs that would be odd. Pardon?
Remember in the 1800s, in the 1800s and the early 1900s, we used to have the death photos.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Where a family member would die and everyone would get on the big couch
everybody
and
gather around and take pictures with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Sitting in the living room.
So,
yeah.
I want someone to do that with me too. I want to bring back that custom.
I think we should.
Well, I deal with some business people in Asia, and one of them was telling me we won't be here for like 2 or 3 days, whatever it was. And that was exactly what they do. They go to their loved one's grave and they pull them out and they clean them up. They clean the grave site and put it up.
Oh, really?
It's like, this is weird, but okay, So I mean, it's just weird to us. I mean,
yeah.
But then again, different parts of the world eat different foods than we do, and we think that's weird. So
Yeah,
maybe we're the weird ones.
I think we are.
You get used to it.
I think a lot of our stuff is capitalized on too much. Because, like, when our people die, we let other people take advantage of us with, like, we could clean our own relatives' bodies and stuff like that, and we put it off on other people, and,
Yeah, because it's seen as taboo. And
yeah, it is.
that's a very interesting point of view that I've yet to hear.
Yeah.
I like that one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I thought of that, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
So I also, I guess to get back to, I've also bought 10 acres of property right here in the jungle. I'm literally, as the crow flies, maybe 1.5 miles from the Gulf of Mexico. So right on the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't pay much for it, but it's very hot here right now. Today was 105, and yesterday was 109.
Holy
So
crap.
yeah, this is it's that time of year, and I'm out on the roof. I mean, that's why I'm really dark right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you see the Mexicans getting off the roof and going down and getting some water, getting in the shade, that's when I get off the roof.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I'd be hurt to Chris.
So I bought this property.
Very white.
And there's it's like an elemental / cherub, like elemental, homunculus thing there, control kind of, but more of like a cherub. It's kind of like like Cupid is the most well known, and it's called aluxes. That's ALLUXES, or aluxe, and aluxes is the full version of it.
Okay.
And they are protectors of the Mayans, like crops and stuff. And we are in Mexico. Listen, you hear it?
What is that?
Something with butter. Mantequilla is butter.
Okay.
They have the trucks to roll by. You get your tacos, you get your fruit, you get your ice cream.
Oh, okay.
Oh, a little while you hear the pizza goes. There's a guy who yells and goes, pizza.
I love it.
Bike every night. But always. Days where I wish I was in quiet down.
Yeah.
So they have these things are really well known. Actually, they were trying to build a highway between I think it's Cancun and Playa de something. It's I can't think. Is it Playa de Carmen? Yeah, Playa de Carmen, because Ciudad de Carmen is on this side, and it's like a highway. And they were trying to build an overpass, and they tried it like 4 times. Like someone died. It broke. The machinery, the crane broke, this, that, and the other, and they're like, what is going on? So they talked to like some local Mayan people, and they were like, yeah, you're having an aluxe problem. They're like, what's that? And they looked into it, and they were like, okay, what you have to do is build like a little shrine. So they built this big shrine right underneath this overpass. They were able to build the overpass, and nothing happened after that.
Wow.
This is a well-known phenomenon down. If you talk to anyone here, those, and what's the other one? The Duendes, the little people that are like 3 inches tall. That's what's going on there.
Fairies?
And I've had experiences with these things.
Oh, really?
That's what I'm trying to.
That's
what I'm trying to. The aluxes.
Oh, the little ones.
ALLU. Yeah, ALLUXES. Aluxes.
Oh, okay.
And
they're also aluxes.
Mm-hmm.
Aluxes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aluxes. And they like to like whistle, and they like to throw rocks, and they're like very mischievous. Like, so a lot of people on their farms or their ranches, that they're having these things happen, they put out a little house, and they'll leave the door open with an offering, like corn is the offering that you give here, which in other parts of the world is like candy or cookies or something.
Right.
And then they'll shut the door if you're not allowed. And so the first time I had a situation happen, I was out there with a campfire. I mean, I just cut into this jungle to make a farm.
Yeah.
It's not big, guys. It was already cut down before. It was just little trees for all the environmentalists out there. It's not that bad. And most of the trees are standing. I left them all. And so we had a campfire with my daughter and me. And, it's getting dark around 6 o'clock. And just, Daddy, marshmallows.
Yeah.
And this rock comes flying in. It hits the trees, and I'm like, hey, baby, you getting tired? I'm getting tired. Yeah. Like, okay, let's go to bed.
Yeah.
So I built this little cabin. It's nothing big. It's like what is it, 3 meter by 4 meter, whatever that is, 3 yards by 4 yards. Nothing big.
Yeah.
And on the outside, there's an extra. It's got the shower. It's got a kitchen area. It's got a little bathroom area, and it's all screened in because the mosquitoes here will literally eat you alive. I'm not trying to be funny. It's the truth. There's like 4 or 5 species here.
Wow.
And like around October, watch out. Watch out.
Oh my goodness.
You'll get dengue fever. Dengue fever. If it bites you, it's like 3-4 days of like misery, bones cracking, can't sleep stuff, which I haven't experienced yet, but that's what I've been told.
Yeah.
So I make this, and we sleep outside, me and my daughter. So we have 2 Mexican style hammocks. They're really good ones.
Yeah.
They're like autograted, like a caterpillar thing, but sideways.
Oh, cool.
Cocoon.
Yeah.
And so she's sleeping, and I'm sleeping. I go to the bathroom about 3 in the morning, and I'm about to go to sleep in this hammock, and I hear in my left side of my ear like, and I just like out of instinct just kind of threw a punch.
Yeah.
And there was nothing there, and the voice was a female voice. I can tell you that. I can tell you that it wasn't Spanish, it wasn't English, and it wasn't German. I don't know if it's mine or not. I have heard it, but not enough to know. That's the first one. And that's when we were close to each other. Then I built this addition, and I slept in the addition, but I can still see her. She's maybe 10 feet from me.
Yeah.
And one night I wake up and I look over, and above her, I got this metal roof. There's like this blue and white light, like just hovering up, like the size of a hard ball, just kind of hovering, but not circular, but just the size. It's 2-dimensional on the ceiling.
Above your daughter?
Bluish white, above my daughter.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I go to look for where the source is coming from, and as I look, it goes away. Then I think 2 nights later, the addition has another shower here, and the door's open, and it's metal walls, and it's just I'm like Daniel Boone out there, like a Mexican Daniel Boone, and Explorer, whatever, Lewis and Clark. Pick your Explorer, that's me. And I see on the wall, instead of being on the ceiling, on the wall, I am a stand-up comic too. But
you told us.
Yeah. I do it in Spanish too. I'm not very good, but I know a lot of tricks and it works. I see this light again, but instead of being, up on the ceiling, it's on the wall. It's also a metal wall. And I see the same size. It's kind of moving. Look for the source. Disappears. So I'm like, okay. So I've been talking to people about it, and they say to, talk in your mind. So, I'm not here to, no, excuse me, I said that afterwards. And then I'm trying to go back to bed. So about maybe 10 minutes later, I hear another voice, but it's on the outside of the mosquito net, about 20 meters into the jungle, I hear another voice, female, whatever. And then I just said, because people are telling me, you just kind of say, look, this is my property now. I know you're here. You made your presence known. I'm not here to hurt the property. I'm here to actually take care of the property. You're allowed to stay, but you can't harm me or my family. And ever since then, it's been okay. But that's also the truth. And that's some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I believe that.
My stories.
I've heard that from people out of the Appalachians.
I had to.
They call them fairies. Yeah,
I had to do that in my apartment one day because my keys disappeared. Couldn't find them anywhere. Even my next door neighbor came over and helped me look for them, and I was like, okay.
The janitor ghost.
Was this after the cat?
No, it was way before I got my cat.
Okay, all right. I'm blaming the cat.
No. I was like, okay.
That's what we do. I do that. We do that with like when someone farts around the house. Like it's the cat.
Yeah. You have a cat.
I love it. It's true though. It's true.
I mean, it was like I couldn't find him anywhere, and I just badly had to say, "Okay, here, take my keys. I know I recognize you're here. It's all good. You can stay, but please don't touch my stuff." And a few minutes later, I lifted up something on the table where I'd looked like 3 or 4 times, and JT had looked.
Wow.
They were there.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've heard of stories like that. It was weird.
I was like, okay, fine.
Well, if you think of it, everything, if you believe in, was it quantum theory, quantum mechanics, is energy.
Yeah.
So who's to say we don't just go to a different energy level or
It's
whatever
possible.
it is?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean,
It doesn't bother me because I know, like, things pass through, and you know.
Well, I'm a little bit more. I don't like these.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the things that go bump in the night. I prefer the big hairy creatures in the woods. Those are my choice of things. But
you've had experience. You should come on one time, man. You should come on. I'd love to talk to you about that.
Yeah, I'd be glad to. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you can
That'd be fantastic.
on any of us. Yeah, it's. I think also part of it is once you open yourself up to things. I think that has something to do with it. Your intent. I met a guy much later in life. Well, I mean, we're good friends, and he worked for a 3-letter agency with the government, and he said everything is about intent. He said, I was standing in Russia. I should have been killed. The person that I killed, his father, was walking right up to me and knew what I looked like, but my intent was that I was a fruit salesman or something. And he looked right, looked me down, walked right on past me. He says it's intent. Everything is intent. And he's a big preacher of that. And so I've started to, I'm going to call it manifest, but put something in that. And I believe there's a lot to intent. You know, you
started practicing it.
Yeah, we're creatures of light. We're that's what we do.
Yes.
You know, we're trapped in a meat vessel. So
there you go, dude. See, we're talking the same thing. You're Christian, you know. We're good.
I'm a big meat vessel. Yeah. I'm a big meat vessel, though. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I got this big-headed avatar for some reason, but
meat around the middle.
Yeah, I need to get rid of that. Oh well, so Tom, the Eye of Jupiter is your show?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how often are you on?
I do a live. I just had my live today. Live is at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I do that once a week on Wednesdays, and I do a regular podcast that comes out on Saturdays. The times vary. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to put it down. But normally Saturday, if you look, around afternoon, when you're done taking the kids to the pool or the mall, wherever you are, I'll be on there with some interesting guests. We talk about, the stuff we were talking about, and cryptids, and I talk about psychedelics and religion and all manners of things, consciousness. Whatever tickles my fancy that's not mainstream is what I want to talk about, because I find more truth in that than the mainstream.
That's very cool.
You get to meet some interesting people.
I like it.
I do. I had a lady come on today she started this like regenerative farm. She was an alcoholic and went down the wrong path, and then she decided to, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to kill myself. And then she was supposed to meet a doctor somewhere, some kind of weird doctor. She's like, yeah, come on by. I'll give you, I'll check you. And she meets this other person there who she couldn't decide if it was a woman or a female, excuse me. She couldn't decide if it was a woman or a child. And it was a weird conversation. She kept saying, yeah, the doctor will be here, and kept looking away at her phone. And it was really weird, like time stopped. And then she went back to her car, said, okay, I got to go. And she's not coming. I got to be somewhere. And like flipped down her visor, looked in the mirror, and she said everything changed. Like she realized all the trickery of reality. And then like just started her life over again. And like now has this regenerative farm and healing practice and all this stuff. So that was fun.
Wow.
Stuff like that. And I'm the first person she's ever talked to about that. I'm like, wow, that's what an honor, So that's great.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Well, a lot of people think you're nuts for talking about stuff like this. And, when I started this last year, my whole theory is I've got a microphone and I got a mouth. Anybody wants to tell their story, come on.
Got some ears. I've got some ears on.
Sometimes.
Yeah, Glenn is I don't know Glenn very well, but he's a very, like meat and potatoes basic guy. He's got a mouth, he's got a microphone, let's rock.
Yeah.
And we've had everybody from celebrities to, actors, comedians, athletic people come on here. it's kind of cool. Everybody's got a story, and I like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you get to share it with them.
Yeah.
I wish I had your comedic flair that I could pick up and off the
It takes a
cuff
long
like that. I
time, man.
learned it.
You were talking about people thinking you're weird. I get on stage and do cat jokes. I mean, how weird is that? I'm just like, I got an idea about a cat. You guys want to hear this? And they're just like, no. I'm like, well, you're going to hear it anyway. And you just do it. and it takes time. Yeah, you have to. It teaches you to read people. It teaches you to read the room. You know, I don't know you guys.
Yes.
And, you know, but there's smiley faces. I've seen you guys talking to the guest we had on before. Shout out to, what was her name again?
Ashley.
Ashley.
Shout out to Ashley. Go over to her channel, like and subscribe. And I see the conversations that you're having, and I go, okay, I'm trying to feel the room. And, you know, because normally I'm a very dark, I'm like wordplay comic with dark and weird mixed together. But so I read the room and I read my guest and I try to open up something, because a lot of people are like nuts and bolts. How big was it? Where was it? When did you see it? Can you describe it? And I kind of go into like that too. Of course, it's important. But like, you know, did you go back to the woods? Were you able to hunt again? What happened when you told your family? You know, what was the catalyst for you now going back after 3 years? Well, I had to go, you know, things like that. And I really enjoy that. Like the human interaction is the most rewarding, I guess you would say, to not be.
Yeah.
So, what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever. There's a word that's missing out of my vocabulary. I worked all day.
Oh my gosh. I have that all the time. Don't feel bad. Yes.
Yeah, I think it comes with age. So my memory's gone already.
Oh, dude. Oh my god. Yeah. You ever look in the mirror? You ever look in the mirror in the morning? And I'm 44 now. I look in the mirror and I go, what the hell did I do to myself?
Yes, I'm 56 and I do the same thing. I was like, oh. I was a young man. I could have done this.
I used to be Frosted Flakes and watch the Smurfs. What happened to me?
Yeah. That's right.
It was just yesterday.
It was just yesterday.
Yeah.
So, like our time here is so short, man. You should enjoy it, man. Like, you know, try to lift another conscious. You know, that's what I'm all about. Because people we have all these neighbors. We live in these big cities, and no one even talks to their neighbors anymore. Turn your television off, except for this show. Watch this show.
Yeah, watch.
Don't turn this one off, but turn the television off. Watch this show, and after you watch the show and like and subscribe, go out and talk to your neighbors. Go out and talk to somebody on the street. When you're in the 7-Eleven or at the gas station, you get a name tag. Say their name. Hey, man, thanks, David. Or hey, thanks, Charlene. Because that's the things that will reach us to another level, a higher conscious, to get us closer to God. Things like that. And that's what people do, too wrapped up in their own world, you know?
Yeah.
I love talking to people. I get in trouble.
Yeah, me too.
I talk all day.
Dina, is that how you say that? Dina. But just if people, you have to love yourself first and know who you are as a person. If someone doesn't like the fact that you're talking, that means it's their problem, not yours. They can go, hey, you know, and they can choose to leave too, but it's your life, you know.
No, I mean, I'll start a conversation. My daughter.
Oh, about some weird stuff? About some stuff that
Dina's never met a stranger.
No. People, okay, strange people are drawn to me. They will like tell me their life stories.
Ooh.
Which I'm weird too, but you know.
Yeah, you're not going like, you're not at a bar. Yeah,
no,
you're not at a bar going, hey, did you know the federal? You're not like going, did you know the Federal Reserve is in federal? You know, they're like, oh my god. You're like, who is this lady?
No.
Don't do that.
Just like when I'm out, not strange people, not strange, but I mean like different people, like.
No, that would be me at a bar.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, okay, so me and you can hang out. All right, cool.
I just found out the craziest thing today. No, come on, I gotta tell you something.
Oh, no, mine is like, people will just start telling me about themselves, like everything about themselves, their whole life story, which I don't mind. I'll sit and talk to you. And I don't know why. It's
gotta be interesting though. It's got to be interesting. They can't be they can't, it can't be them talking about 50 years of working at Walmart or something.
No, it's like.
But
Travis is like that. He'll get the random people just to come up and tell him their life story. And he was at the gas station out in town one day.
Yeah.
And some guy just came up, got right in his face, and was like, "I got to sing you this song I wrote." And sang to him right there in front of the gas pump.
That's sweet.
That's so romantic.
I was like, you should be honored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The man loved you.
I remember even in childhood having that happen.
I think it's just empaths.
I could go on with other stories, but I believe that. I think we're law of attraction. So I've never met a stranger. That's why I became a paramedic. Well, the drive fast and cut the clothes off chicks, but other than that was the reason I became a paramedic. So.
Wait a minute, you're taking the clothes off women with gunshot wounds, dude? What are you?
We got to make sure she's not shot anywhere else. Come on.
Boobs are boobs, man.
No, you're trying to help. You're helping. I got you. I'm with you, Glenn. I'm with you.
Yeah. It's called expose and examine. It's a licensed technique. I'm allowed
to do.
You really
do. So. You do have to take your clothes off.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm Judge Glenn, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I've been judged many times, and I'll be judged many more times. So.
Thankfully, where I grew up, the RBF keeps enough people just.
What's the RBF?
Resting bitch face.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
I don't know all the acronyms now. I don't know all the acronyms. I've been out of the States for so long. I don't know any of those.
You're getting old time. That's all it is. So. All right, Tom. We're going to be back up against this hard break again. Let me tell everybody where you're from, what you got going on, when you're going to be back. And of course, you're welcome to come back on here anytime you want to. So.
Yeah, I'll be back when you have me back. That's the first thing, I guess, which I would be grateful to accept, of course. And Shay and Dina, you guys are also welcome to come on the show and
thank you.
Share your stories. And the show is the Eye of Jupiter, and we talk about everything. And like I said, right now I'm on YouTube and I'm on Rumble, and I don't have any podcast feeds on the RSS feeds or Podbay or any of that, or what's the big one? Spotify or anything at the moment. Haven't gotten to it. I can't. It's not that it's the point, but I can't really you can't get monetized for it in Mexico anyway. Only thing you can do is drive traffic to other things that you want.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like, I'll get to it when I get to it, but I will. I will, because some people don't watch in video format. And I do 2 shows a week at the moment. If I have a special show, I had one time where somebody seen 3 people seen a Bigfoot, and I didn't know that one guy knew the other guy, but I knew both of them. I was like, okay, I'm going to ask him. He goes, go ahead. And I asked him, and their stories matched. I was like, that's fantastic. So I'll drop one of those every once in a while. And I have a Facebook page, Jupiter, and come on over and join the community. We have a lot of fun. We share a lot of posts, and laugh it up a little bit too.
Cool. Just let me know.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on.
We're glad you came on. Just let me know. I'll be more than glad to. I'm sure either of these 2 young ladies would too. So.
Yeah.
We'll set up a live, dude. We'll set up a live like in a month. That would be cool. That would definitely be cool. I'd love to hear Bigfoot stories. One of my favorites.
I don't know. I don't have any Bigfoot stories, but Glenn does.
She's got creepy stories that send things through the microphone to torment me while we're on live.
Well, write me an email. Dina, write me an email. Write me an email, and then we'll chat. We'll talk it up, and then I'll have you on. No problem.
One of my past episodes, before I had my hair cut, she sent something through the microphone that was playing with my hair. And I just zoomed in. And I was like, you see this? Maybe let's go away, Dina.
I didn't. No, I just hear a woman talking in his room all the time through the microphone. And he doesn't hear it. But Shay and I both heard, or Shay and I both heard a woman screaming on one of our other podcasts one night.
It was the woman screaming because he wouldn't listen. That's all it was.
I don't know. But he was talking to another guest, and this lady just let out a blood-curdling
Okay, scream. RBF is starting to make a lot of sense.
No,
I just kept going, and I never heard it. So
they didn't hear it.
I went back to the playback because I didn't believe them.
Yeah,
And I
because
found
me and her
it in
looked at
the.
each other. We were like,
Yeah, I went back. I downloaded the video and went back to it. It was pretty much like frame by frame going through it, and I finally caught it, and I'm like, I did not hear that. Where did that come from?
Don't
And it
lie.
had to
You
come
asked
from
me to look
here.
it up for you.
That's wild.
Well, no, you give me a timestamp, but once
Yeah.
you told me the timestamp, I went back and looked. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I went back and looked frame by frame to see if I could see something. But
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Then
Yeah.
there were
Well,
two of
no,
them, two or
with the
three of
hair
them.
pulling thing,
Oh yeah. with
I
the
never
hair
did hear.
pulling.
I never did hear the third one, but yeah. So yeah, when you start dealing with paranormal, weird stuff happens. Sometimes it's cool. Sometimes you're like, yeah, not so much. So
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
I prefer the things out in the woods.
Oh yeah, cool.
All right, Tom.
Like I said,
Well,
you guys are welcome anytime on the pod. It just write me an email or Facebook or there's no ways to contact me. And I would love to have you guys on for real.
Okay.
So go ahead and contact me. I promise.
Sounds good.
And Glenn, we're already in contact, and we'll set up a date. Glenn, I got you.
Absolutely. Well, heck, I'll just show up on your front door and we'll have a survey. So the heck with it. So.
Okay. All right. You bring the tacos, I'll have the cerveza. Cool.
It's funny. I had tacos tonight. So. Did you hear? Well, wait, I got it before. Did you hear the New York mayor today by any chance in his statement? I want to get. Well, hold on a second. Let me push a button here. WDJY and WRFN, I appreciate your time. We will see you again next week. Everybody else, hang on just 1 second. Let me push a button. If I can find it.
Oh, my
There's a button right there.
Hi, Rich Fields here, and come on down. It's time for the Sportcat Show.
Okay, we can curse and say what we want now. So I just have to get off of the FM radio.
Oh, we're on the radio.
We were.
Well, no, we're not live, but we will be. This show will be in Nashville Friday night, and it will be in Atlanta next Friday night. So yeah, so we're tape delayed, but I have to put those in so that they can edit the commercials. So
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
no, it's no problem.
You. That's
So I was
amazing.
going to ask you, by any chance? Yeah, that's no big deal. I mean, say it's no big deal, but it's fun. I mean, that's what this is. This is all fun. So I mean, we're still live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah, Dina got me saying that. Well, I was going to ask you, from your side of the fence, did you hear the New York mayor's statement today, by any chance?
No, I didn't. I haven't followed the news in 10 years. I just can't.
I'll throw this out there. I want to make sure everybody knows the disclaimer is this is not from me. I'm repeating news sources. Sat and watched the footage, and the lady beside him shaking her head on it. Actually, on either side. So the mayor of New York City said apparently they have a shortage of lifeguards at the city parks, and he wants to be able to hire the illegals that are being dumped into his city as lifeguards because they're good swimmers.
Is that what he said?
That is exactly what the mayor of New York City said. That is not my words. Do not put that on me.
But here's the thing. They're not.
No.
They're not good swimmers.
No.
I'm a paramedic, and I can.
I'm not a good swimmer.
Not a very.
I'm not a great swimmer. I can go out, I can go out 200-300 meters and go swim lake a little bit, 10, 15, 20 minutes and come on back. But they don't swim very well. They honestly don't. So I guess it was kind of like it had its racial undertones. People can read into that.
Yeah.
But that whole situation, which people don't understand is like these people coming through now are not Mexican. They're Guatemalan, Honduran.
Yeah.
They're from, so like Mexico has that problem too. So they're being blocked at the border. They just push through the border because Mexico is seen. I think it's the 13th largest or 15th largest economy in the world, And then Latin America is the largest economy in the world, bigger than Brazil and all of them. So it's doing pretty well, and it's only on incline. So people are coming through here to get there, but people think it's Mexico. But for the most part,
I think
really isn't.
No, it hasn't been Mexico. People from Mexico in a long time.
I mean, there are some, but not a great deal. Like they portray it.
But they can get green cards. I mean, they don't have to.
Well, heck. Oh yeah, I mean, you could, as an American citizen, you can drive over there.
But being a vet, what I don't get is being a vet. There's so many vets that are on the street, you know, that need medical assistance. And the infrastructure is complete. We all know this. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that. I'm a former military. It's war. It's blood for money. Let's just go ahead and say that.
Yeah.
And get that out of the way. And we, well, not me for a long time, but you guys pay for that. Yeah. You're paying companies, because I've seen it firsthand. They go into a place like Kosovo. I mean, that was maybe a little bit okay compared to most of them. So it goes to whatever country. They bomb the hell out of them. They send the military in to do it. And then slowly but surely, because I used to be a signal guy, I used to do radio, they slowly but surely phase out the regular military and they put in these contractors who make, you know, at that time, you know, like $80,000 a year. We're talking 20 years ago. So that's what, 150 or something.
At least.
And they just move to the next war. So, and we know this, but yet at the same time, our infrastructure is failing. The economy is failing. And I think if you want to get into conspiracy, I think it's like the Bolshevik Revolution, because there's no way that they can attack us from overseas. So what they do is they do it from the inside and infiltrate through like a communist capitalist type thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not even, I used to be like a liberal dude, and now the liberals are so crazy, they push me over to the right. Like, okay, if you guys need me over here, I'll be over here.
They have, I know.
Oh, awesome.
I agree.
I don't see, I mean, for a long time, most of our wars have been just regime changes. It's, you know, stupid.
Yeah, I was just reading on the Manuel Noriega thing.
It's all stupid.
All right, well, Tom, I don't want to keep you. Plus, it's late here. But I did want to ask that. I mean, we're still.
No worries, man. I got to get up early.
Ugh, yeah, not me. I gotta sleep. Actually, I got a radio show to do.
Hit it hard and heavy tomorrow. 105-degree heat.
Yeah, be careful out there.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
It was fun. A lot of fun. Thanks.
All right, Tom, I'm going to get you off screen. Have a nice night. We will see you soon. I'll talk to you soon. I'll message you. Bye. All right. Well, that was a great show, ladies.
It was fun.
It was. I had a good time.
I'm very tired. It's been a long week.
She's struggling. Yeah, she's had a long day, so I know she's been at work early. So
tired too. Okay. Let's get the hell out of here.
Well, yeah, let's get the hell out of here. Saturday, you ladies are in charge. I will be in the woods looking for a big hairy thing. Actually going to a friend's service.
Bobby.
Yeah, it'll be Bobby. He'll video me snoring again and make fun of me. So I'm a bastard. So, so Friday night on the Grin and Guardian show, we have Chris Moore, that's right, from Chesapeake Fire Department. He's going to come on and talk about PTSD with the veterans, with the firefighters. So make sure to check that out. That'll be a great episode. Shay and Matt will be handling that for me while I'm gone. And then Dina, Shay, and whoever else shows up on Saturday, Luke, and all of you all have Saturday. Just remember, don't say the words Tom Brady. So,
okay.
But it is dedicated to him.
It is. Because we love Tom. Tom, that show is for you. Nothing but love. Even though you were on the news today whining about it. Grow up, Tom. You're a billionaire. I don't think I can get banned in my last minute, can I? That's possible. It's possible. Everybody have a wonderful night. We will talk to you soon.
Good night.